Welcome to A Country Boy Can Cook. Today, taking a white cake mix, kind of following the instructions, just a little bit, applesauce, and making a cake with just those two items. Maybe a little spice added in. So thanks for watching today for this cake hack, using a 90-cent box cake mix from Wally World. First thing you want to do, I'm going to do this in an air fryer. So I'm going to put my air fryer, let's see, crank it up 25 minutes. I think it says 30 minutes on the box. Let's see here. 35 to 40, 38 minutes, 34 to 48 minutes. So we're going to put it at 35. And at 350, my air fryer will start preheating at this point. The second thing I want to do is be sure and spray to make sure the cake will come out. I use Baker's Joy. Works great. I've been using it for years baking cakes. It sure helps an old dude get this stuff out of these pans. Doesn't affect the taste at all. It's just a flour coating. It does have a little bit of a sweet taste to it, but nothing bad. In a cake, it's sure not going to matter. My oven, air fryer's preheating. And as you can see, I'm sitting in my favorite spot. The oven is preheated. It just takes that quick. It's so simple to do this cake. There's no oil, no butter, nothing. It calls for 4 eggs, half a cup of vegetable oil, as we call it here in Texas. I started making these because my wife is a diabetic, and she would love to have a little bit of cake every once in a while, but it's just out of her. It just takes up all of her calories for the day and puts her too much sugar. Use my trusty dusty Church Key multi-promise tool. It works good for everything. All right, let's see here. Dump your cake mix into your mixing pan. And this is just like baking any other cake. I'm going to start out with 2 cups of applesauce. I use Mott's all natural, sugar free, or no sugar added actually. It's just applesauce. I'm going to put 2 cups in. And then stir it around at that point and see what the consistency is. Gonna make sure we get every bit of that. It is so good. I got a recipe yesterday for an applesauce cobbler that I may be trying really soon. Let's see how this is. Tell me what your favorite cake is. I like dark, rich chocolate, devil's food, with milk chocolate icing or frosting. I use buttercream on mine. Let's see. See if this 1 cup will do it, or 2 cups will do it. It's usually about 1 can of liquid. Yeah, I use the old-fashioned mixer. Just my arms, Armstrong. I believe the 2 cups will be plenty to get this cake mixed up. Oh yeah. I'm gonna use my handy dandy drawer right here to set stuff on. Put my mops back up. My air fryer, it's just cooking away. It's at 31 minutes, so about 5 minutes lost, but that's okay. I'll just turn the time back when I start. Pumpkin pie spice. Not a lot, just a little. Let's see here. A little bit of McCormick cinnamon. Let's see here. Anyway, back to what's your favorite cake? My favorite dessert is banana pudding made with homemade vanilla custard. Not banana custard, but vanilla custard with super ripe bananas put into it and layered with wafers. And I cook my own custard. I use nothing but the egg whites to off to the side. I save them. They have a purpose at the end. But when you're cooking your custard, use nothing but egg yellows. I should have said that right the first time. So how do I know if the consistency is really good? It may need a little bit more. Get this measured right. I don't know how y'all cook, but I don't use recipes, or very few. I just go off of what I think is right. Most of the time it turns out pretty good. If you don't see this video, you know this didn't turn out very good. I've made this cake before, so I just bet it'll turn out, yeah, just a little added. And really it depends on the day, how much moisture's in the air, how much liquid you've got to add. And there's no water, no oil, no anything. It's just the applesauce. And as you can hear, Mr. Big Man is coming through the kitchen. It's like Dad's got the air fryer. Has he got some hot dogs, or what's he cooking? All right. Best way to test this? I know, not supposed to be in raw cake dough. Oh, that's good. It's like really, really good. Maybe a little bit more cinnamon. All right. And it's going to be ready to go in the air fryer. Anyway, back to the banana pudding. I take and make homemade custard. Just the egg yellows. Save the egg whites. They'll be used at the end. Once the custard is getting thick, layer that. And with your vanilla wafers and bananas, once it's all layered up and you've used it all, then take and whip your egg whites and make a meringue out of those. You know, back in the old days when they made these, they didn't let anything go to waste. Try to get some cool looking tops as far as meringue on top of your banana pudding. And bake it. Can't remember the recipe, but about 350 degrees for about 15 minutes until this, till the tops of the meringue start getting a little bit brown. Everything else is already cooked. You just want to cook the meringue. So yeah, it's ready. I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but it's ready to put in the pan. I got my handy dandy pan already. All right, set here. Ready to go. I've been filming these one-handed until I decided to make a tripod out of a spotting scope. Gonna get every bit of that goodness out of there. Every bit. All right. Let me know if you have any other kitchen hacks as far as baking, cooking that you do. I just take and push it up in the corners. Make sure everything's in good. And just like any kind of baking of cakes, kind of tap it on the countertop. If there's any air bubbles, that'll kind of dislodge them, send them to the top. All right, let's put this timer back on to 30 minutes. We could always add more time. There she goes, boys and girls. I know it's going to be good. It's cooking away. We will see y'all in about 30 minutes. I'll bring you back. Well, it's almost been about 32 minutes. The timer's fixing to go off on this. But as it gets down to about 1 minute, the light comes on. I need to check it and see if it's done. Two things this is good for. Probe the inside of that cake and see if it comes out any crumbs on it or wet. You know it's cooked at that point. You can also check the temperature down to 8 seconds. There it is. There she's off. All right, there she goes. Well, let me get my hand. I'm going to invent a tool to do this with so I don't burn myself. Other than this church key. So let's see if this baby is cooked. Oh yeah. Let's see. It's pulled away from the sides. You can see that. That tells me it's cooked. Probe right here in the middle. Let's see, the temperature is 196 degrees. Any crumb? Nope. She's cooked. She's ready. So it took 34 minutes. Humidity's not too bad today, so I'll know that for next time. I'm going to let it cool for a little bit before we get to taste this. It's going to be really good with some whipped cream. It's going to come out of a can because I don't have any cream to make up. But it's going to be good. And to let y'all know, I'm sure some of the people are going to know, have I been into a fight with a wildcat or what? No, I'm an old dude. And I had a heart event last year in October. They put me on blood thinners. So anytime my big man boy, the one that keeps running in and out of here, comes up in my lap, he scratches my arm, just the least little scratch, and it will cause a bleed like that. One of the fun parts of getting old, it's better than the option of stopping like I did almost last October. And the backstory to all that was, I was going to work last October, 5 in the morning. My wife and I worked at the same place in a medical center. I had a tinge in my heart. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't a pain. I got a defibrillator. I thought maybe it was it. And then all of a sudden, about a second later, I felt it in my head. My wife looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, it's just a funny feeling. I don't even know what it was." So we headed on east to Plano out of Louisville, Texas. And she said, well, when we get there, since we work for a medical center, she is going to get one of the doctors to come out and check me. And as we got closer to her exit, I remembered what my heart doctor always said. If you're in this area and you have anything out of the ordinary, if you feel like you need to burp and you can't burp and it's a pain in your chest, come to the heart hospital. So I did. We drove up there. It's 5:15 in the morning, pitch dark. Pulled up in front of the emergency room. My wife went inside. they came out with a wheelchair. I was driving. She said, where to, I said, you can park the car over there. And she said, where? And I said, right there where it says emergency room parking. And the nurse said, yeah, you can park there, whatever you need to do. So I got in the wheelchair, turned around, and I don't know anything for 2 weeks. I was out. I don't ever remember being taken into the hospital. I don't remember the first 2 weeks of, I guess I woke up during that time, had a couple of wild dreams. The next thing I really know that I have sense about is I'm going to therapy and I can't use my legs. I remember asking one of them, was I paralyzed? Did I have a stroke? And they said, no, you had a heart event. I said, a heart attack? And they said, no, one side of your heart didn't talk to your other side. They weren't communicating. One side's, is pumping and the other's pulling in blood, and they weren't communicating, and there it was. I was overweight. I weighed 480 pounds. Now I'm down to 300 and about 10 or 12 pounds. I'd like to get to about, and that's been last October, so about 8 months I've lost that weight. I still get to have some good snacks. This is one of them. Not a lot of added sugar and cream and stuff that goes into it. No eggs and no oil. And so anyway, that's my story, and that's why I'm sitting down here. I can walk now. I came home in a wheelchair. I could walk on a walker. That was right at Thanksgiving. What a glorious day to get home and have Thanksgiving with my wife here in the house. I was sleeping in a hospital bed that was put in our kitchen because that was the only place it could go, and I had to have one to get in and out of bed. And I get up 2-3 times a day on the walker, go down the hall and turn around and come back. And one day my therapist said he'd come by, said, you're doing good, you're really doing good. And I said, well, I've got this cane that it was my dad's that I made for him. He used it a couple of times and I've been playing around with it. She said, well, show me. So I grabbed the cane and walked about 10 foot and turned around and came back. She said, oh, that's amazing. She said, well, you can just use the cane now. Just be careful and don't fall. I said, all right. So I started using the cane, and I explained to her that I wanted to get out on my porch. I wanted some fresh air. She said, well, next time she was there, she would help me get on the porch. So sorry about the long-winded story, but you need to know why I've got these spots on me sometimes. Anyway, I told her, yeah, I'd like to get on the porch, and I would like to go down the stairs. And I was on my walker and at that time, and she said, what are you going to do once you get down the stairs? I said, well, I'll eventually come back up, but I want to go to my car. And she said, what are you going to do there? And I said, I want to drive. She said, oh no, you can't be driving. I thought, I've been driving since I was 8 years old. I was raised on a ranch. At 8 years old, I was driving our old pickup in between bales of hay so my dad could throw it up there. She said, well, she didn't want any part of that. So I called my buddy Randy. He came down. Between Randy and my wife, I got down the front stairs, no fall, no nothing. Hobbled out to the car, my walker, cranked the car, left the walker there and told him I'd be back in a few minutes. Cranked it up to my old rock station, took off, drove it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 blocks away and decided I probably need to get back to the house. They were wondering about me. Pulled up back in front of our house, looked at them and smiled and waved and did a donut and backed up in the driveway, and I told myself, I got this. So not long after that, I started walking without a cane, and here I am. I actually walked in Brahms the other day. Everybody doesn't have a Brahms, but it's our local dairy store that has ice cream and vegetables and fruits and meats and stuff. So I'm doing better. I started making YouTube videos about 2 or 3 years ago, but my health failed and I just got so I couldn't do anything. But I'm feeling better and I'm back now. I hope you enjoy the videos. I hope you enjoy this white cake mix hack. It's easy. Applesauce and a cake mix. It was 90 cents. I bought 4 of them when they were on sale. And they're great. So, a country boy can cook. We will see y'all on the next visit. Please subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. Thank you.